Well, heidi-ho, Jimbo. It's Caleb Jones again, and this is the Alpha Male 2.0 podcast. Greetings from Yerevan, Armenia. As I make this recording, I here for a few more days before I head back home to Dubai. Residency is pretty much done. Bank accounts are pretty much done. Some other things that I can't talk about publicly are either done or in progress. It's kind of nice. The five flag stuff that I've been working on here in Armenia has actually been the fastest and easiest of every country I've worked with so far in terms of paperwork and how fast things move and the ease of things. And it's just a really relaxed culture. It's kind of nice. And now the one flip side of that is I actually, unlike the other places, I actually had to spend some real money to do some of the things I'm doing here, so, thousands of dollars. So as always, you get what you pay for. But anyway, this is one of those free-form podcasts. A lot of you seem to like these where I have a topic, but I do not have an outline. So we'll see how this podcast ends up. One of the most common, and I hate this, but one of the most common objections/excuses I get from a percentage of my audience when I talk about starting your own business, when I talk about location independent income through your own Alpha 2.0 business, certainly when I talk about coaching or consulting, being your own consultant, location independent consulting, coaching, what have you. But even when I don't talk about these topics, when I just talk about business in general, how you need to start your own business, you cannot rely on a job in the modern era. That's insane. Not only that, but it doesn't allow you to do any five flag stuff because you're location dependent. One of the most common objections/excuses/responses I get is, but I'm not good at anything. Or, but I don't have any marketable skills. I'm an idiot, Caleb. I'm 27 years old and I don't know how to do anything. I guess is what these guys are saying. And you would be surprised the number of guys who say this to me in comments and DMs and emails. And, you'd be shocked. The number of guys say, but I don't know how to do anything. I'm not good at any. That's a literal statement. I'm not good at anything. So a number of things. This is a challenge. This is a problem. First of all, number one, top of the list, and I have said this before, that is probably incorrect. If you hired me as a coach, and I'm quite expensive, but if for some reason you were able to hire me as a coach, and I sat down with you, and I took out a notepad and a pen, and I grilled you for about 2 or 3 hours on your entire history, everything you've done in your life, all the jobs you've done in your life, all the work you've done in your life, all the things you did in school, all the things you've done for hobbies, all the things you've done before, starting from when you were 5 years old. And I grilled you on this, and I went through several things. I am quite confident I would find at least 2 skill sets that you already have that could be marketable, where you could utilize in an Alpha 2.0 location independent business of some kind. Maybe that's not consulting, although maybe it is. Maybe it's not coaching, although maybe it is coaching. Maybe it's writing something. Maybe it's writing a blog, ebooks, podcast like this. Maybe it's selling products. Maybe it's something. But I'm sure I could come up with at least 1, if not 2 things that you have. One of the things that we do as human beings, and this is just part of the way the human brain is designed, it's part of homeostasis, is that we assume that everyone knows what we know. Whatever skill sets we have, whatever things we're good at. So let me back up. Whatever skill sets we have, we assume everyone has that skill set. We assume everyone has that skill set. You'll notice this with really smart people who are very technical at a very young age. They're kind of like, they look at normal people who aren't good at computers by age 7 and they go, what's your fucking problem? Or guys who are naturals with women, guys who, you know what I'm talking about, these guys who by the time they're 11 or 12, they've got game mastered. It's just that it comes naturally to them. And they're actually having sex with chicks by like 13, 14. And they're having sex with the best looking girls in school. And it's just easy for them. And every other guy, myself included when I was a young man, just stares at them in awe. Like, how do you do that? And they look at you like you're a moron. They go, you just go up and talk to them and just fuck them. What's the problem, you moron? We think that whatever we're good at, everyone is good at. And that's obviously not true. And it's just a natural thought process. It doesn't mean there's anything weird about you. That's just normal. I've run into this myself years ago. I'm like, well, everybody knows about these, computer consulting tactics. Everybody knows that about time management. Everyone knows how to sit down and plan out their week and plan out their day and everyone knows how to do that. It's real simple. No, it's not simple. I thought that everyone had the skills that I had. Also, whatever you're naturally good at, you tend to think that everyone else is naturally good at it. So then what value does your natural talents have? Your talents have no natural value. Your skills have no natural value because you incorrectly assume emotionally that everyone is good at what you're good at. Therefore, you could never teach anyone what you know because they already know what you know. So whatever it is you know, everyone on planet Earth already knows everything about that. So you have no marketable skills. That's where a lot of this I don't know anything or I have no marketable skills thing comes from. You probably do. You're taking them for granted because it's such a regular, normal part of your life. And again, that's a very human thing. So just be aware of yourself. That's why guys like Jay Abraham have talked about taking an inventory of all your skills and all your talents and writing them down and come up with like a real life character sheet for yourself. For those nerds or ex-nerds like me who used to play D&D. A character sheet on yourself, a real character sheet, and write out all your attributes. What are you good at? What are your skill sets? What are your talents? And you'll come up with something probably that has some market value. And even if you don't, you probably have some skill sets that could easily be translated into market value. Or you might have the personality that very easily is compatible with a marketable skill that you don't currently have. Here's a really easy one. Really, really extroverted social guys who are natural extroverts can very easily develop very quickly public speaking skills, either in real public speeches or online with Zoom and things like that. That's a very easy transition for those guys. So if you're a really extroverted guy, a real social person, you love to talk, you love to be with people, but you've never actually delivered a speech or did a Zoom presentation where there were like 50 people in at the other end, you could very easily learn how to do that because your entire personality is already geared toward that topic. Make sense? So if anything, that's step one here. I'm just coming up with these on the cuff here. Step one is don't devalue what you already have. You probably are. If you're walking around saying, I don't know anything, I don't know how to do anything, I have no marketable skills, I'm an idiot, I've never done anything cool in my life, the odds are really high that is incorrect. And you just need to sit down and do an inventory and realize that most people on the planet Earth do not have your skills. And most people on the planet Earth do not have your abilities. And many people on the planet Earth would pay you for those things in the context of, hopefully, a location-independent Alpha 2.0 business. Now, here's the second part of this, and this is even bigger. How do I say this? Very shortly, and we're kind of already there, we are, as I've said many times, entering into a dark age. The entire world is entering into an economic and political dark age that's going to last quite a while, probably several decades before we come out on the other side. It's not going to be literally the entire planet, but it's going to be much of the world. Certainly the entire Western world, which is in a state of collapse. All the areas in the world that are directly connected to the Western world. There will be some parts of Asia that will do okay, but even those parts will have some problems. China will rule the world, but as you may already know, if you follow China, China's doing a lot of things wrong right now, and they're going to have a lot of problems. So we're in for some very serious problems here in the world, minus technology. Technological growth will still grow. Technological growth will still be amazing. That's the one part that will be very positive in some respects. In other respects, it won't. I'll talk about that in a second. But we are entering into a dark age. So that means that normal, everyday beta male morons, which is the vast majority of men in the modern society, are in very, very big trouble. They already are. They're already getting fucked hard and not in the good way. So it's already happening now, and it's going to get not only worse, it's going to get much worse. Historically, and I've analyzed these things and discussed these things many times in my articles, my blogs, and many of my YouTube videos. Historically, the typical average beta male who was normal and, quote, didn't know how to do anything was fine. In the 1950s, if you were the typical average guy, the typical average beta dude, you lived a pretty good life. You had a good job, you had a great pension that you could retire on, you were married to a wife who took care of you and cleaned the house and never divorced you because the divorce rate was 7% back then. And the currency was very strong. Prices were very low. Taxes, at least the real tax rate that people actually paid, was very, very low. I've talked about how a low average worker in the 1950s in the United States could afford a house, 2 cars, a stay-at-home wife, and 2, 3, 4 kids on his own income. Today, even a poor man who is an American or a Westerner can't even afford to pay his own rent. He needs fucking roommates. So in the olden days, in the days in which your parents were born and raised, at least in some cases, you could be a normal, typical, dumbass beta and be okay. Is that true today? No. We are in an era now, and we are entering into an era where if you're just a typical, normal, average guy, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're screwed. You're going to be destroyed. And many men are already there. So what I'm trying to say in my very nice, sweet Caleb way is, if you, quote, don't know how to do anything, you're in very, very big trouble. You're in very big trouble. And if I was walking around like you saying, but I don't know how to do anything, but I don't have any marketable skills, I would be horrified. I would be in a constant state of terror, and I would say, oh my God, I'm gonna get fucked. I don't wanna be fucked. I don't want my life destroyed. I better learn how to do something really fucking fast right fucking now. Because you guys who are walking around saying, but I'm just a typical guy and I don't know how to do anything and I don't know how to, I have no marketable skills, you're in very big trouble. You already are, and you probably already know that. Many of you who are in that category, listen to my words right now, are probably already nodding your head going, oh yeah, my life is really bad. Oh, you think it's bad now? You have no idea what's coming. People, particularly modern day Westerners, have no idea how bad it's going to get very, very soon. And the men who, quote, don't know how to do anything, the typical, normal, everyday, average dudes who just sit around and just, they go to their dumb job and they come home and they jerk off and they watch Netflix and they go to bed. Those guys are absolutely fucked. And so if you're one of those guys who says, I don't know how to do anything, I have no marketable skills, you know what you need to do right the fuck now? I mean, literally right now, as soon as you're done listening to this podcast, or even while you're listening to this podcast, you need to sit down and learn how to do something marketable right now. Right now. Like I said, for most of our history in the Western world at least, this was optional. You didn't need to know how to do anything, and you could get along just fine. You don't have that option anymore. We don't live in that world anymore, thanks to decades and decades and decades of Americans voting for the lesser of two evils, and decades and decades and decades of Europeans voting for authoritarian socialists. We all have now entered into a dark age that's going to last many, many decades, and it's going to get far worse before it gets better, and it's going to be worse for a long time. You don't have the option of being the normal everyday guy who, quote, doesn't know how to do anything. The guy who isn't useful to anybody. You've heard this, and I've read this in articles on the internet and things like this in books. The phrase, be useful. People who are useful are going to be okay. People who have a skill, who have a marketable skill that is of high demand in the marketplace, are going to have problems, but they're going to be okay. I have many, many, many marketable skills. Why? Do you think I was born with these skills? Do you think I had these skills when I was 21 years old? No. I had to go out into the world and I had to build them myself because I didn't go to college. I never went to college, and God forbid, I know this is shocking, I don't even have a high school diploma. I don't have any of those things. I had to learn how to do this shit myself, and I did that. I did it in my 20s. I did it again in my 30s. I did it again in my 40s. I am learning new skills all the time. Not now, I say all the time, not literally all the time, but every once in a while, every few years, I have to learn a new marketable skill because I don't want to be fucked. I don't want to be destroyed by this dark age that's coming upon us right now. I am not going to be one of those guys who gets fucked. I mean, I'm already not. I'm already kind of set for life. But you get my point. If you don't know how to do anything, you better fucking learn, buddy. And you better learn right now. You're dead. You're going to be roadkill. A big truck's going to come along and drive over your head. And then you'll be all pissed off. If you're like most people, most Westerners, you'll blame other people. You'll blame rich people. You'll blame racist white people. You'll blame Republicans or Democrats or SJWs or Muslims, or you'll blame some other group and you'll be all pissed off while you're destroyed. A lot of fucking good that's going to do you. You have got to learn something marketable. You don't have a choice anymore. You used to, now you don't. Now, learning and knowing a marketable skill that is of value in the marketplace is mandatory just to live a normal, a somewhat kind of average life. Never mind a great life. Just to live an average life and not get destroyed by the things that have happened and the things that are coming. You're going to need a marketable skill. So if you have ever said or thought, but I don't know how to do anything, or I don't have any marketable skills, that should be the biggest wake-up call to you in your entire life. You should immediately stand up straight and go, oh my fucking God, I am in big trouble. I'm gonna fucking die. Not literally, but figuratively, I'm gonna fucking die soon. Because I don't know how to do anything. I don't have any skills, according to you, and you're probably wrong, I don't have any skills that anyone finds valuable. Learn. Learn something. There's a quote in my primary book, The Unchained Man, alphamalebook.com, from Earl Nightingale, and the quote goes something like this. I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but the quote goes something like this. Earl Nightingale was watching TV one night, and Earl Nightingale, if you don't know, is a very old school, very famous success guru from several decades ago. Genius, amazing man. And he was watching TV one day, and this was probably around the early 90s when there was all these rounds of right-sizing and layoffs and outsourcing and things like that, when it really began in the early 90s. By the way, when I began my career in the middle of a recession. But anyway, he was watching TV, and some blue-collar worker guy was being interviewed. He had just been laid off from his job, and he told the news lady, the person interviewing him, he said something to the effect of, I've been doing this thing for 25 years. It's whatever he was doing, some, bolt and die thing, some blue collar factory job that I'm sure was outsourced to India or robots or something like that. And he's like, I've been doing this goddamn thing for 25 years. I don't know how to do anything else. Because they were saying, well, you should get another job. And he's like, I don't know how to do anything else. This is all I've been doing for 25 years. And Earl Nightingale's response to this, and he's absolutely right, is 25 years? In 25 years, you haven't learned to do anything else? He said, in 25 years, you could learn to do heart surgery in your spare time. In 25 years, that is inexcusable to not know anything. And a lot of you fuckers are 25 years old, 22 years old, 32 years old, God forbid 35, 37 years old, who, quote, don't know how to do anything. What the fuck have you been doing with your time, you moron? I mean, I know this is going to sound like bragging, but it's true. I was a full-time professional self-employed consultant by the time I was 24 years old. A computer consultant. So I had several marketable skills. I knew how to talk to people, I knew computer skills, and I had some very basic sales skills. I was making, as I've said 1,000 times, a six-figure income in 1990s dollars by the time I was 27 years old. What the fuck is your excuse? And, I'm a dumb fuck. Some of you think I'm really smart, and I'm not bad, but I'm a dumb shit. I did so many things wrong. I've talked about this on my blogs. You go read the articles. I did so many things wrong when I started that business. I wasted so much money and so much time. I did so many things wrong, and I still got to that income. Why? Because I had some marketable skills. I didn't just sit on my ass and play computer games all day. Well, Caleb, that was back then. Today we have computer games. Fuck you. I have been playing computer games since most of you were born. I've been playing computer games since 1982, when I got my first Atari 2600 and played Space Invaders. In 1987, 1988, I was playing games called Ultima. Now, you guys my age know what that is. You young guys have no idea what the fuck that is. And I would spend hours and hours a day playing that shit. So yes, we had video games in the 80s. We had porn in the 80s. We had all that shit. No excuses. No excuses. Or I should say, I'm Alpha Male 2.0, so I don't care what you do. If you want to make all the excuses you want because you don't know anything, you don't know how to do anything, you have no marketable skills, great, you're fucked. You're gone. You're fucking gone, man. You have no idea what's coming. You are the one who this death wave is going to destroy first. All these normal everyday beta males who, quote, don't know how to do anything and don't have any marketable skills. You will be the guy begging the government, even if you're a Trump supporter, even if you're an anti-SJW guy, you will be one of the guys begging the government to pay your bills because you don't know how to do anything and can't get a job and can't start a business because you don't know anything. And the currency will be worthless and you're going to be fucked. Fucked. There's a reason why, and I've mentioned this before when I talk about politics, which I try not to talk about anymore, but there's a reason why there were Trump supporters all over websites like Reddit who are saying, universal basic income is a great idea. Well, that's a really great idea. There were Trump supporters watching that podcast that Joe Rogan did with Bernie Sanders saying, this Bernie Sanders guy's great. He's fucking great. There's a reason for that, because all these fucking guys don't know how to do anything. Learn something. I don't have time, Caleb. Liar. You're a liar. You do have time. A lot of you young guys listening to my voice right now have plenty of fucking time. You're just blowing it with Netflix, video games, porn, weed, and all kinds of other bullshit. Yes, you might have a full-time job to pay your bills. Fine. A lot of you fuckers don't even have jobs, or have part-time jobs, or just do gig shit. Fine. You have the time to learn any marketable skill you want given time. Well, Caleb, what should I learn? I mean, you can't just say learn a skill. I mean, what should I learn? Well, I'll give you a few examples, okay? These are random examples off the top of my head. Again, I have no outline. I'm just talking off the cuff here, okay? The most valuable skill in the universe, in the business world, is obviously sales. And I've said many times that if you want to be successful, if you want to make a lot of money, if you want to make a high income, and you don't need to make a high income to be alpha male 2.0, but you need to make a decent location dependent income, is sales. Now, if that just terrifies the fuck out of you and you just don't want to learn sales, fine. You don't have to learn sales specifically, but that is probably the best skill to learn. I would far rather you learn sales than you learn how to write code. Let me talk about code for a second, because I've mentioned this a few times. If you want to learn how to write code, that's fine. Here's the problem. You are going into direct competition with a country with 1 billion people in it called India. And all these people in India know how to code better than you, and they'll do it for a half or a quarter or a fourth of what you'll do it for. Pretty hard to compete with those kinds of people. So if you're going to learn to write code, instead I wouldn't do that. I would learn how to manage programmers and learn how to design software from a higher level that actually has market value, that actually applies to a niche that has a strong problem or a strong need, as I've said thousands of times in my business content. I would rather you figure out how to write something and then hire the coders to do the coding for you while you go out and get the niched clients who desperately need the thing that you're creating. That is a skill, and that is a skill you can learn. By the way, sales is a skill you can learn. Don't give me this bullshit about how you're an introvert. I am an introvert. I am an introvert. When I talk to people during the day, if I'm talking to a lot of people, I get completely drained. I got to go back to my house or apartment or hotel room, depending where I am, and be by myself so I can recharge. I am an introvert, and I'm pretty damn good at sales. Like I said, I was making a 6-figure income on my own efforts in my 20s through nothing but sales. Face-to-face sales. I've done a lot of stuff since then. So no, I don't care if you're an introvert. I don't care if you're not a people person. Some of the best salespeople and the most successful and wealthiest salespeople that I've ever met and or ever heard of were fucking introverts. So that's not an excuse. Another skill, if you don't want to learn sales, is marketing. Marketing. I just did a course on marketing called How to Get Clients. How to market something. And you could pick a particular type of marketing. You could pick online marketing, offline marketing, pay-per-click advertising, a certain type of advertising, influencer advertising. Pick a certain type of marketing and get good at it. That's it. Now, what I would advise is not to do something very broad like, I do social media marketing. 47 million guys do, quote, social media marketing. That doesn't mean shit. As I've said a million times, niche. If you want to do social media marketing, which I don't recommend, but if you want to do that, then you do it for a niche. My son does some social media marketing, but he does it specifically for certain types of real estate agents. He niched because he's smart and took my advice. He didn't just say, I have a social media company and I'll work with anybody. No, that's fucking dumb. No, but that is another example of a skill that you can learn. Investing is a skill you can learn. Speculating is a skill you can learn. Cryptocurrency absolutely is a skill you can learn. Cybersecurity is a skill you can learn. There are so many skills that you can learn. And the beauty of the skills that make money, real estate is another skill you can learn. The beauty of the skills that directly make money, the beauty of those skills, because this is what I've done in my career, over the course of my business career, is that you can use that skill once you learn how to do it to start making money. And then when you make some decent money, you can then go to the audience, go to that niched audience and teach them how to do what you did, making the same money you did. I've done that numerous times over. Every time I make money myself at something, I make a good amount of money, I document how I did it, and then I turn around, not every time, but most times, and then I turn around and I will write a book about it, or make an online course about it, or do an audio course or something, so that I can make money from that thing a second time. So anytime you have a business skill that makes money, you can make money from that thing twice. The first time when you actually do it, like you're going to be a consultant, you get a few clients and you make a lot of money. Great. Well, then you can turn right around and write the ebook or the course or whatever you on how to be a consultant to this blank niched industry and make money again. It's fucking awesome. That's why guys like that, guys who have marketable skills, guys who know how to do something, guys who are useful to the marketplace will be either successful or at a bare minimum be okay during the next several decades in which we enter this dark age. But if you're one of these fuckers in my audience who says, I don't know how to do anything and I have no marketable skills, what am I supposed to do? You have two choices, bro. You can get fucked for the rest of your life. Boy, I'm glad I'm not you. Or you can get off your dumb ass and learn how to do something. It's not that hard. Try to pick something that is at least somewhat compatible with your personality. Now, let me respond to that, because there's some of you who say this. I can't believe this, but some of you say this. But Caleb, all those things you listed, I'm not interested in any of those things. So yes, you could give me a bunch of different skills that I can learn, but I'm not passionate about any of those things, and none of those things turn me on, and none of those things match my personality. Then you're fucked. Go back home, watch Netflix, smoke some weed, and sit on your ass and get destroyed by what's coming. Fine. That's perfectly fine. And I have no problem with that. I really don't. Again, as I said before, I'm an individualism absolutist. You do whatever you want with your life. I don't care. I will make money regardless of what you individually do. So if you want to destroy yourself and make a bunch of excuses on how you can't learn anything, because I had guys say that, well, I can't learn anything. I'm too old, Caleb. I'm 41. You moron. Do you know the number of new things I've had to learn just in the past 3 years of my life, and I'm older than you? I'm in my late 40s. There's about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 major skills that I've had to learn as my businesses grow that I didn't have before just in the last 3 years alone. Okay, none of this I'm too old bullshit. It's ridiculous. I'm too old. I can't learn anything. I have ADD, so I can't focus. Nothing turns me on. I have no passions. You can make all the goddamn excuses you want, and if those make you feel good, great. They won't make you feel good when you get fucked by what's coming and what's already here. And one more thing, and I've said this before. If you don't want to be an alpha male 2.0, if you don't want to make a lot of money or even a decent amount of money, if you don't want location dependent income, if you don't want to have non-monogamous relationships and just not have sex or have sex with one average looking girl at a time if you're lucky, if you just want to live a beta male life, because occasionally I'll get guys say, well, I don't want to do this stuff. Great. I don't know why the fuck you're listening to me. What the hell are you doing listening to this podcast? Go jerk off to porn. There's some good porn out there. Go jerk off. Have fun. Don't improve your life. Be a beta and get fucked. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you, as I've said before, if you purposely choose to be a loser or to be a beta male, then do so. If you purposely choose to organize your life in a way where you're going to get absolutely fucking murdered by the dark age we're entering into right now, great. Have fun. Like I've said many times, I'll be over here living a great life, regardless of what you do, because I took the time and effort, starting when I was about, I think 15 years old, I took the time and effort to learn marketable skills. And sometimes it took me a while, and sometimes I fucked it up, and sometimes I made mistakes. Tough tits. I still did it. And it worked out very well for me. And it'll work out well for you too. Or you can sit around and make excuses about how you don't know anything and have no marketable skills and you can't learn and nothing turns you on and but this, but that, but this, but my mom, but my dad, but my ADD. God damn. I've heard every excuse in the universe from a lot of you millennials and Zoomers. I've heard every fucking excuse there is. Great. Keep making those excuses and get fucked. It's up to you. I don't care. Totally up to you. I wish you didn't. You know, on an emotional level, I want everyone in my audience to live a happy life. My fantasy is that everyone in my audience lives as good of a life that I currently experience. I know that's not going to happen. Statistically, it can't happen, but that's what I want. But it's your decision. So I've just given you several ideas here on what you can do to get out of this I don't know how to do anything thing. Oh, stupid. Give me a headache. All right. Have fun. I will yell at you again just like this next week. Bye.